Hi, welcome to Prime Recap. Carnivorous titans have invaded the cities protected by the huge walls, and not only do the survivors have to face these aberrations, they must also face the tyranny of the rulers. Today we will recap the movie, Attack on Titan 2, End of the World, from 2015. With the rise of the carnivorous giants, mankind had to hide within immense walls of protection, but this strategy was undermined when a titan with a size far beyond what was known opened a hole in the outer wall, allowing a horde of giants to enter. The chaos spread quickly, causing deaths in the worst possible ways, and then people were forced to abandon their homes and flee to the inner walls. The army created a mission to contain the hole in the wall with explosives, but everything went wrong. One of the army members named Eren turns out to be a Titan ally, and now he may be the only salvation of the human race. When Eren was just a child, he was used as one of the genetic experiment subjects by his own father, who was obsessed with turning humans into real fighting monsters. On this occasion, Captain Sauda, a friend of the family, was present, and immediately took Eren to a hiding place behind the walls of the house, because high-ranking members of the government, together with General Kubel, had broken into the house to interrupt the doctor's studies. So they took Eren's parents and executed them, and burned the family home to the ground. Back in the present, Eren wakes up frightened and finds himself imprisoned by chains and surrounded by members of his own troop. General Kubel enters the scene and explains that humanity has united after the emergence of a new enemy, the terrible Titans. And although resources for survival have become scarce, everyone is happier, because they feel equal. But according to him, this new power of Eren's having this ability to transform into a Titan threatens this peaceful existence of humans. Eren tries desperately to say that he is an ordinary human, but the military leader does not want to keep him alive at all, lest he threaten his sovereignty. But Armin stands out among the members of the troop and comes out in defense of his friend, saying that it was Eren with his Titan transformation that saved the entire army in the mission to recapture the wall. He assures the commander that his friend will be a valuable resource to humanity, fighting side by side with the humans and protecting the city. Captain Hange Zoe also disagrees with the idea of eliminating Eren. She is intent on doing crazy experiments to test the boy's monstrous abilities. Armin had another plan. He tells Kubel that in the agricultural fields near the outer wall, there is a huge deactivated missile. With Eren's help, they can get it to blow up the section of wall and close the hole in the Titan's passage. But his insistence on saving his friend only makes things worse. The commander begins to accuse Armin of being the mysterious traitor responsible for sabotaging the previous mission and destroying the explosives. Kubel then orders the soldiers to shoot, and Eren is still desperate, begging them to stop this, and to give him a chance to show his skills and work together. Seeing that her friends were about to be killed, Mikasa finally decides to take a stand against Kubel, and the general asks her why she tries so hard to defend someone like Eren. Things have gotten totally out of hand. Captain Sauda yells for everyone to stop and begins to explain about the boy's abilities. Apparently Eren is able to control himself while he is a Titan, but his self-control disappears as the transformation remains active. Before the captain could elaborate on his explanation, a shot is fired right into his chest, killing Sauda immediately. A cowardly shot fired by Kubel. Suddenly there is a huge explosion from above, and an unknown Titan falls from the ceiling, crushing the soldiers along with Commander Kubel. Members of the troop begin shooting relentlessly at the monster, but the bullets are repelled and bounce off the Titan's thick skin. The giant kills the soldiers easily and captures Eren. They try the strategy of attacking the creature's neck, but are easily blocked. Like Eren, this Titan can reason and protect itself from attacks. Mikasa positions herself for combat, and the Titan looks straight into her eyes. And curiously, it gives up attacking them, sparing their lives. The mysterious Titan begins to climb out of the tower, taking Eren in his hands. After they bury Captain Sauda, which was a great loss to the group, as he was like family, Captain Hange takes command of the small unit to proceed with the restoration of the wall. They must first retrieve the bomb that Armin mentions, and then head for the outer walls. Mikasa is reluctant to return to her old village. There are too many terrible memories from the past, irreparable losses, but she decides that she must join them. Eren wakes up in an all-white, brightly lit room, playing romantic music that is very unpleasant for the moment. He then hears a familiar but obnoxious voice. It was the accursed Captain Shikishima. The man explains that he saved Eren from the Titan that captured him, but he cannot kill the creature, and so he just escaped the fight. Shikishima shows Eren old recordings from decades ago. Apparently humans were developing super soldiers through genetic engineering and creating these monsters called Titans. But the government lost control of the virus and it began to spread within the population, and randomly a large portion of humans turned into these terrible monsters, destroying human society as we know it, leading to its collapse in a short time. The survivors who were not infected for some reason hid within these huge walls, and clearly a system of government was put in place, transforming over the years into today's society. The white rooms they are in at this very moment are built by the government in order to monitor the population's every step, making sure that they forget their past at large and thus are easily manipulated. The captain claims that the destruction of the walls was planned by the government to spread panic in the people, as they are beginning to question what they are hiding beyond the walls. However, the captain realizes that Eren is able to maintain consciousness after transforming into a Titan. He says that they can defeat the rulers if they work together. The two come out of hiding and Shikishima introduces Eren to his rebel followers. They are holding a large part of the explosives that they stole from Commander Kubel. He also demonstrates the ancient weapons, used before the Titan Wars, which although ineffective against the giants, used to serve very well against humans, and this can help a lot according to him. Shikishima hands Eren a piece of propulsion equipment saying that his future depends only on himself. Meanwhile, the squadron has already managed to transport the missile to the truck, and they plan to follow course toward the crevice of the wall before any Titans notice their presence. Mikasa stares into the distance, remembering the happier times when she was still with her friends and had at least a little peace. The group heads toward town, but Armin abruptly stops the truck when he sees an armored vehicle ahead. A bunch of rebel soldiers show up and point their guns at the squad, and only then can they see that Eren is among the suspicious men. He apologizes to Mikasa for not sending any news, and says that he has a plan for them to execute together. Shikishima suddenly appears as usual and begins to examine the missile that the group has rescued. For a change, Captain Hange gets excited, screaming happily at the sight of the supreme arsenal of Shikishima's rebel group, and jumps into the tank falling headlong inside. However, Shikishima says he will confiscate the missile, threatening the group with the weapons if they refuse. He explains his plan to overthrow the government. He intends to break down the inner walls, so that the Titans will invade the city and kill the members of the government, collapsing the current command permanently. Eren is shocked by the captain's plan, since he thought the bombs would be used to repair the wall. He questions about the lives of the people living inside the city, but Shikishima thinks they deserve death, as they are guilty of allowing such tyranny to exist and accepting it quietly. The captain tells Eren to abandon his past and join the rebel cause, but the boy begins to remember how the Titans have given him suffering and pain. He screams in rage and tells the captain that he will not simply pretend that he does not have this past. He advances on Shikishima, but is easily knocked down by him. Eren gets up and tries to attack the captain again, but the man dodges all his attacks, and even challenges the boy to turn into a Titan while Eren continues to insist on getting a good beating of the captain. Eren's attacks are completely useless, he always ends up face down on the ground. Mikasa asks the captain to stop hitting her friend, but Shikishima just laughs and kicks the girl, which leaves Eren beside himself, stupidly trying for the 1000th time to attack the captain and ending up being humiliated by him. Armin tries to draw up a plan of attack and then Tsunagi observes a stone tower that looks very unstable. Before Shikishima can bury his sword in Eren, the apple hits his head. Armin is yelling at the captain and threatening to blow everyone around him up, using a contraption he created himself. His companions get Eren safely, and take him to the truck, but the captain doesn't believe Armin's threat, saying that the device in his hands is a fake. He tells his troop of rebels to get ready to shoot everyone. Suddenly, a hook passes through the captain's face and hits the stone pillar. It was Tsunagi, who jumps in front of everyone and begins to pull the structure down. He shouts for Armin to run away while using all his strength to pull. The captain gives the command, and the troops fire on the soldier who is brutally wounded, but still keeps pulling and manages to bring down the pillar right on top of the truck with explosives. The group takes this opportunity to escape the huge explosion that almost hits the missile, but they finally manage to escape safely, with the pain of having another friend killed. Shikishima is alive and continues his insistence of wanting to take the missile with him. And how will he do this? To everyone's surprise, the cursed man takes out his sword and drives it into his own chest, which causes numerous bones to appear in his back. A wave of purple energy envelops the captain and he begins a bizarre transformation into an immense titan. Armin looks at the giant in shock and realizes that the captain is the one who eliminated his friend and killed the commander. Eren also wants to drive the sword into his chest and turn into a titan, but Jean stops him, because they don't know if this will really work. He tells Eren that, unlike Shikishima, he has his team. They will win. The armored titan walks towards the group and continues to demonstrate its colossal power by easily destroying two other giants in a beating. The squadron moves toward the titan using some strategies to distract him. Sasha takes the opportunity and shoots an explosive arrow into the monster's eye, blinding it for a short time. Jean flies around the monster and slashes it between its ribs, while Mikasa cuts off its fingers. Eren flies underneath the monster and cuts its tendon, causing Shikishima to fall to his knees. Jean sees this and flies toward the giant, trying to deliver the last lethal blow to the back of his head, but the Titan turns to hit him. Eren manages to kick his teammate, saving him from death, but is maced with a punch to the buildings. The giant turns and heads towards the missile, but before he can grab the explosive, he notices a burst of green energy. It was the soldier Eren, transforming into the Titan after nearly being killed. The Titans scream, echoing a deafening sound, and set off on top of each other, trading colossal punches, but Eren is soon at a disadvantage as his blows do not damage Shikishima's armor. The armored Titan starts to dominate the fight and knocks Eren to the ground. Shikishima walks towards him, planning to finish off his opponent, but the Titan warrior grabs a helicopter propeller at his side and smashes into his enemy. The attack nearly cuts the armored Titan in half, and Eren musters all his strength for a fatal knee strike that hurls the Titan against the buildings. Shikishima transforms back while Eren savors his victory. He walks towards his friends and starts lifting the bomb out of the truck. He carries her on his back and starts climbing the wall, while the hunters use their thrusters. They reach the right height to explode. Eren then places the bomb inside the crater, but his energy is gone. He is at the limit of exhaustion, and his monstrous form begins to crumble. Mikasa notices that he is not well and jumps on his back, opening a cut on the back of Eren's head. She tries to awaken her friend who still lives inside by reminding him of his promise to take her to see the vastness of the oceans. The boy soon regains consciousness as he recalls his good memories and proceeds to shove the missile into the crack. Away from their captain, Hange managed to survive the explosion of combat against the rebels, as she was inside the armored vehicle. Even she is surprised at her own luck and begins to collect rocket launchers from the rebel arsenal, but does not realize that a mysterious figure is silently accompanying her. And who would that be? Mikasa manages to remove Eren from inside the Titan, and Armin has already managed to time the explosion to 5 minutes. Just as the team is about to leave that place, they see the cursed Commander Kubel, standing and alive right on top of the wall. The Cursed One somehow survived the Titan attack and tries to bribe the squadron if they will leave the wall as it is, and turn Eren over to the care of the government. Obviously the team refuses in a rage, causing the Blighter to shoot at them and hit Armin. Kubel shouts that there is nothing outside. He insists that the people need to live confined within the wall to be happy. Before he finishes his speech, he is hit by numerous arrows fired by Sasha and falls on his back. But to everyone's surprise, Kubel also begins to transform, rising into that colossal Titan that was seen before. The team moves toward the giant to avenge all their dead friends and family members, but it is difficult to get close to that monster because its skin is extremely hot. The Colossus tries to capture the missile and prevent the wall from exploding, while the timer continues to count down. Jean attacks the Titan, trying to stop him from destroying the bomb, but is killed by a single blow from the monster. The giant turns toward Eren and tries to grab him, but is hit by a missile, fired by Captain Hange, who is in the team's rear. Eren again tries a lunge, flying into the Colossus' back. He climbs closer to the commander, and when the timer beeps, strangely, nothing happens. The damned Titan was able to damage the detonator, and Mikasa now needs to run towards the bomb to reactivate it, but has no idea how to do it. Shikishima survived the fight against Eren, and appears behind the girl, mocking her as usual, and throws Mikasa to the ground. He is disappointed in mankind for giving up their freedom, for they will seal their fate just to keep the walls standing. Mikasa tries to convince the captain that he can still free humanity if he destroys the tyranny that is oppressing the people, namely Kubel. Well, Eren managed to get close to the Titan despite its high temperature and opened the back of the beast's head to hit Kubel. However, Eren is pulled in by the giant's huge hand, failing to finish the huge creature. Just as the Colossus is about to devour the boy, Shikishima appears transformed into a Titan, scaling the wall quickly while holding the missile, which causes Kubel to let go of Eren and set off on the other Titan. Shikishima grabs the missile and shoves it straight into the Titan's mouth, generating a gigantic explosion that eliminates them both instantly. A chain reaction leads to a second explosion that breaks the top of the wall. Eren tries desperately to escape the chaos. He is thrown into the air by the shockwave, but is saved by Mikasa, who will not lose him again, and the huge rocks finally seal the hole in the Great Wall. Eren and Mikasa escape and go to the top of the wall. Despite all the losses, the mission was complete. They finally get to see the ocean in the distance and are amazed by its beauty, and at least for the time being, the journey against the Titans was over. So, what did you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like it and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.